West Tigers fans, we are back in the iChoice studios for the last episode of 2024. You think by the end of the season, I would have got iChoice correctly. Jason's here, Rob's here, Az is here. Let's finish the year with your survey results on the West Tigers season. Welcome in, West Tigers fans, to the last episode. Maybe our last episode. Depends. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a big signing or something drop by the end of the year. Az and I'll probably, we'll analyse, get our West Tigers nerd on when the draw drops. But for now, the last one of the season, we'll call it the last one of the 2024 season. At WestsLife Pod, please give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter, and the link in there if you want to find our YouTube channel. Shout out to all the regulars getting ready. They're on the live chat with us again, been with us all year. Thank you to you, legends, and patreon.com/WestsLife. If you want to join in on the fun, even though the footy season's over, lots of chat, lots of NFL chat, lots of fun going on in there. Righto. I'll start with Mr. Bashara. How are you this evening?
I'm excellent. Good to be here, guys, at the iChoice office. G'day, Jace. G'day, Aaron, Josh, everyone out there. Our last dance, but from the spoon end of the situation. But be good to talk a little bit more Tigers, and then just have a nice off season and enjoy the semis and the grand final, watching the other teams.
Yep. And our Mr. iChoice himself, Jason, big Tigers fan, is back to tell us what iChoice are offering this week. Welcome, Jace, to another episode.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, guys. Look, I do send interesting emails out every month. So if you jump on my database, my emails are always informative. They're not very salesy, if you like. If you go to ichoice.com.au and scroll down the bottom and just pop your email address in there, it will be now about the different grants available for first home buyers. So if you're a seasoned investor, but you might have kids who are looking into getting into the market, and I'll show you the 5 or 6 ways they can with the government guarantee scheme. Today you might have seen on the news that the government is trying to get over the line something where the government buys 30% equity of your property, but I'm not sure that's going to take off. The Greens are all about removing negative gearing, which I really don't think is a good idea. And I'll be sending that email on Friday. So if you go to the iChoice website and put your email in down the bottom, you'll see my views about negative gearing and how we might have to structure your lending if things do change. But guys, as a mortgage broker, most of what we do is refinance current loans into better loans, not just a cheaper interest rate, but stretching out loan terms for investment loans. Creating an equity account and keeping your non-deductible home loan as small as possible. So please, if you have any lending and you want me to just spend 3 minutes on the phone with you, I'll throw some ideas and some rates at you. And if we have some synergy, maybe we talk about putting an application together. But my mobile is 0400 900 300. But please, I'd like you to get my emails. That's where you'll get a lot of information. Thanks, guys.
I'm going to talk some Tigers with you as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Jace. Yeah, we've got a lot of... We'll bring Az if you want to sub in for Jason there, but we'll get to the survey in a second. But a lot of comments were obviously people understanding that I think one comment was we're on a shoestring budget, which is pretty accurate here. So yeah, support the show. Our sponsors, iChoice, Mobile Corp as well. I'll give Mobile Corp their little spiel as well. So they're a proud sponsor as well, the WestsLife Podcast. They were in their early days a sponsor of the Balmain Tigers under MLC phones. So if you need business, IT, cloud-based telephony, security, desktop support, or anything Microsoft, reach out to Mobile Corp through their website, mobilecorp.com.au. Mention you're a WestsLife Podcast listener, mobilecorp.com.au. And links to both Mobile Corp and iChoice, you can find them at westtigers.com.au, our little Linktree link as well. So very easy to find. As you can see, Jace, great chat to you. We'll chat footy with you while you chat your home loans as well. Righto, Statsman, how are you this week?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks, mate. G'day, everyone watching and listening. G'day, Josh. G'day, Rob. It's been a bit of an interesting week for me, I guess. Bit of a emotionally up and down kind of a roller coaster, but here for the last episode of the season, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. I don't think there's any West Tigers news, so we might as well get right in on the survey. The boys have been looking at. I think we had how many did we get in the end? As 100 and something.
I think it was 120 after Carla in the Discord said she submitted hers. That was the last one.
Good on you, Carla.
Confirmed.
Lucky last. Just snuck it in. Carla, one of our legends from the Discord. I am just biding myself a little time because I need to find my tab where I have the survey. There it is. So I can bring it up in front of me. And we start with Mr. Benji Marshall. I'll just switch the screen so it's nice and big for everyone watching on the YouTube. So if you are watching back on the audio version, probably not a bad one to try the YouTube version out here because we have our pretty little graphs there. If I can get it, there we go. I've got it nice and big up on the screen. So confidence in Benji Marshall, a lot of 5, 6, 7. So that's kind of the higher towers on the line graph there. Rob, you're the one that's been most critical of Benji this season. Kind of people, it seems, I would say a 5, 6, 7 is people are kind of, they could swing either way come 2025.
Look, obviously it's so subjective. Just to reiterate, my criticism is of Benji as a coach. It's not to do with him as a person or a club legend. I think it's really hard to have a legend coaching your club. I think I was surprised in two ways this year. So firstly, I thought he was basically thrown under the bus, like taking Sheens away from him, who I didn't like Sheens to be there from the start, to be fair. But I thought, for him to be promised to be assistant for 2 years, then suddenly he's full-time coach officially. And I really didn't expect much. But then I got this false hope, like from the back-to-back wins against Cronulla and Parramatta. So from there, I thought, you know what? Well, this is beautiful because he's absolutely, one, he's proved me wrong. And I'm so happy to be proven wrong when it means the West Tigers are successful. And, this guy really knows what he's doing. Like Cronulla are no chumps. Parramatta were a pretty strong team, although they were missing Moses that day. But to beat Parramatta at Parramatta Stadium is no mean feat. So I kind of got my hopes up. But then obviously we went on a 9-0 losing streak. Granted, there were some really crazy refereeing decisions that I think changed a couple of games there, which were, really disappointing for us. But then when he started saying things, as I mentioned plenty of times previously in other podcasts, that, I won't quit. And it was almost like a look of defeat or resignation that he didn't really know his way out of it, but he was just going to hang in there. It just kind of left me a little bit sort of wondering about how things would go, but then thinking, you know what, we got Luai and a few others coming next year, and Luai's going to bring so much, as we keep saying. I think, you know what, next year will be all right. But then we get the Spoon Bowl game a couple of weeks ago, and I'm thinking to myself, even if we lose 30-20 or something respectable, it's still not the worst result in the world because we've got so many young kids in the team and a few departing players, and it's a new bunch next year. But for him to come out afterwards and basically say, I told him to have fun, when, we got two halves that need direction, that, first year NRL players, a fullback that was probably having his, third or fourth starting game at fullback. I really lost a bit of hope because, again, we compare to other clubs, but even listening today, the talk about Craig Bellamy, I saw an interview tonight on NRL 360 with Meany, who's a centre for the Storm, and he actually emphasised that they actually did even more video work this week, and like they're studying even harder and on what to do. And I just feel like Benji's just a little bit oversimplistic with his coaching. Like, don't get me wrong, the players play for him. I feel like the effort's been there in 90% of the games this year, so that they definitely try, but I think they need more than trying. And I think what Benji likes about his style is that's how Benji wanted to be treated, but Benji had all the tools. Benji had the kicking game. He had the short pass. He had the long pass. He could manage a game. He could do everything. But some of these guys are young. They need proper direction. I just feel like instead of undercoaching, he needs to overcoach a bit more. And further to that, which might not be his actual sort of specific subject area, we need to be fitter, Josh. We need to be fit. We need to have a massive.
After seeing the Panthers,
Yeah,
the other night.
and not even that. Like just guys, hands on hips. You know, I think I mentioned when we were reviewing Spoon Bowl and young Mason let that ball bounce, and I told you, you know, there were 7 or 8 Parramatta players there, and there were some of our guys just hands on hips on the halfway line, halfway through the first half. You start wondering. Obviously, they're fit, but are they fit compared to other teams? So, look, there's just a lot to be done. It can be turned around. My confidence is I think we need to be sort of 5-5 from the first 10 games next year, and then everything's fine. But given the result of Spoon Bowl, and I think Richo's been very supportive of Benji, but given the result of Spoon Bowl, I feel like the timer on the bomb actually just started ticking. Like I would have said Benji would be there all of next year, guys. Now I really feel like it's going to be so result-based. If the first half of the season goes pear-shaped, I can't see him staying. And I think even Benji alluded to that, saying like, I'm not coaching for my job and time might be against me and all that sort of stuff. So I think he realised like that was a pretty damning result. And remember, Parramatta offloaded 11 players after that game, and I think 3 or 4 of them started that day, and one's been purchased to Penrith. So, and they're missing their halfback and half their pack. So, I don't know. Look, that's just my take on Benji. I really hope I'm wrong. I think it might just wake him up into realising he's got to work really hard as a coach. But I believe our results will come from how hard our coaching staff work. I think Benji's got to work a lot harder. And look, that said, guys, I don't know how hard he has worked, but you know, you get the stories about golf and Fiji and family first, and I'm trying to tell the players, there's more important things to footy. I think that whole attitude's got to change. We've got to be a professional club, build a culture about winning. Winning is really important, and sort of nothing else matters. And I hope Benji can overcome it. Like I said last week, nothing would make me happier than Benji leading us to the finals next year. It'd be one of the greatest romantic stories as a footy fan, period, but just as a Tigers fan, it'd be like our favourite son almost leading us to the final. So I hope he turns it around.
20 years on too.
Yeah, 20 years on, the 05, that'd be nice. It'd be a good way to celebrate the 20-year reunion to go down pretty well, wouldn't it? So I don't know, Aaron, what do you think?
So just on the survey, I was with all the people who answered 7, and that's exactly what I answered at the start of the year. I feel like at this point in time, I'm on the side of what I think the kids that have come through have had a lot of praise about him, and Lockie in particular is one of those. And I feel like if we let Benji do his thing, obviously he's going to take a lot of lessons and a lot of learnings out of this year. But if we let him do his thing, and if he lets the kids be kids of it, but probably with a little bit more structure, like you said, I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah, I think he needs a bit more structure. Look, it was clear in the last game that it was good that Latu and Lockie could play both sides of the ruck. And I feel next year that's going to happen as well. Like Lockie wants to get his hands on the ball as much as he can. Certainly Jerome will want to be doing that as well. And I think they're just going to look. Every time I think how's next year going to go, and I kind of get negative on myself, I just look at our spine. If Buller's right to go, Appy's at number 9 ready to go. We got 2 gun halves, and I think I told you this, off camera, Josh, that like Lockie's going to be doing a preseason training before our actual preseason starts.
Yeah,
so
a few young boys.
That's how keen he's going, man. So we're not going to get any second-year syndrome out of Lockie Go. And he's just going to go up to another level. And look, that really excites me. And look, I just like it's terrible to say. Like maybe I see the glass half empty a little bit too much, guys. But I say it as I feel it. Like, and it's just hard to have faith when I thought we had a really good forward pack this year, and we still only won half a dozen games. So again, I hope to be proven wrong next year. We're all going to be members and supporters, but I'm to be brutally honest, I love doing the podcast with you guys, but I fucking hate doing all this negative shit and talking. I want to talk about more wins. I want to break down games. I want you to cut tries and just I don't want our season to be over at the end of April and be a mathematical chance of making the finals and all that crap. We need to be in the thick of it up until July, August, and really have a chance and have. But that said, guys, how good are our fans? Like packing
the most loyal. They have to be the most loyal fans of
seriously. Like we're picking out. We're going to need bigger grounds if we go well. So
well, they are.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's going to be good. So look.
To me, most loyal fan base is a 2-horse race between us and the Knights, given they've experienced the exact same thing.
Yeah, they got a whole city. They're a whole city for it. Newcastle's a city.
Good.
I agree, Newcastle.
Canterbury have the bandwagoners who are all back on board now.
But they always rock up the
Newcastle, if
game.
you live in the Newcastle area, you got one team. So I think on that basis, we'll sidetracked a little bit. If you live in Sydney, you have, at the end of the day, you have, 7 options to go. It's not that long to get to another team, and no one's really located. But if you live in Newcastle, you're going to be a Knights fan. So I think the fact that we sold out, what did you say, Campbelltown 3 times, still got heaps on a Thursday night. So on the Benji thing, my thoughts, you mentioned Jerome Luai. You got to think too, a lot of people are thinking about the on-field stuff for Jerome Luai, but the intel that he's going to bring from that Panthers system across. Like, when was the last time we got someone from the Panthers? Who was the last Panthers? Dane Laurie, Blore, kind of younger guys from the younger.
I think it'd be
pre their dynasty.
Yeah,
really. So when Luai comes over,
Naden went via Canterbury.
Appy.
Oh, Appy.
No,
Appy was more recent than
Appy.
Appy was more recent than Laurie.
Okay, so this point might be the fact that Appy's there might.
Or we'll finish it off anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean, Appy's been gone a couple of years now, and the Panthers have survived losing a lot of talent. So it's obviously the system is just incredible what Ivan's doing there. So Luai will bring across. This is what Ivan does. This is because Benji's learning, and if he comes and says, "Look, the Panthers are doing this," and it's not. There might be a square peg for a circle hole, but if he's saying, "Oh, Ivan, Benji, where you're doing this," Ivan actually suggests we blah blah blah. We do this more simple. But I don't know. I'm not a fucking professional NRL player. I don't know what the ins and outs of it. But I just feel like Luai, and he's the type of person. He's in the peak of his career. He will almost become like an assistant coach. And I think Appy, I think Benji would be open, the kind of guy that'd be open to hearing ideas because he's been thrown in the deep end early in his career. I don't think he's an arrogant person to say, "Oh no, I'm doing it my way. I don't care how Ivan does it."
But I think Jerome will respect Benji's space. Like if Benji asks him, if Benji wants to,
I think it's going to be. No, I think it's going to be a great partnership.
I
think it's going to be a great partnership.
He will get it. But I mean, look, the blessing in disguise for us this year was Nathan Cleary getting injured, because the question mark was, can Jerome Luai game manage? And he's gone to a new level. And honestly, his confidence is there, and he's actually got a bigger role with Penrith now than he's had, I believe, in any of those 3 premierships. And you know, they could probably win the premiership without him, to be honest. So look, I'm looking forward to what Jerome can bring. I love his, like, I saw an interview with him last week with Jake Duke. I just love what he's about.
I was going to mention that if you guys had watched that.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it.
I got to be honest, like, maybe I love him so much now because I knew he was coming over. Like, and,
of course.
And if he was,
he's a tiger already.
If he was never coming over, I would have said, "Well, stuff you." But look, he's a pretty humble guy, and it's ironically he said last week, he goes, "You know, I just want to go out there and have fun," which was Benji's game plan against Bowl, which I didn't like. But look, I mean, it's different for Jerome to go out and have fun because he's got all the tools and he knows what to do. So look, there's some good things there. I just hope our forwards can, you know, do their thing. I think we've got enough in the backs, given we're getting, you know, Skelton and Taruva, and we've already got a little bit there. But honestly, I'm just excited to see Lockie develop, and Latu showed some glimpses in attack against Parramatta, like when he ran the ball and went, you know, off the right foot again, and did that 20-30 meter zigzagging run. Like, that's pretty exciting too. So we've got a lot to look forward to, guys. But again, how many wins that equates to, I don't know. But I just know we've got some exciting talent there, and I just hope they all hang around.
Speaking of the forwards, so your results for the best performing player of the year, Api Coruscant got 51% of the vote, 36% for Samuela. So yeah, good on you, Samuela, getting more than a third of the vote, and then about 10% for Nuapole. We've got We've got one for Isaiah Papali'i, a couple for Asukepa Ola. I don't know. That's obviously a joke because I forgot to take him out of the survey because I'd used the roster from the preseason survey. He's obviously gone.
Alex, 131 responses.
That's how many they responded to that particular question, but you've got to assume.
You had 131 to that one as well. So
yeah, I assume.
Maybe that's the limit.
So by question 3, someone got sick of it and moved on, because most improved forward, 30% for Nuapole, 31% Samuela. So a bit of an even split here. Samuela. So basically Samuela, Seyfarth, and Pole. Those 3 guys split the vote with a little bit of votes for Sione Fainu and 1 vote for Isaiah Papali'i's mum or something must have voted or something. He's got another vote.
And Dad on that.
In here, yeah. As what are your thoughts on those results for the forwards?
I mean, I completely agree. Obviously, Appy to me was the standout number one player. Samuel Afenu, number two. And yeah, I'm with the kind of the half majority here. I said Seyfarth for most improved, but Seyfarth I thought was pretty good last year, but from the start of this year, Seyfarth to the end of this year, Seyfarth, I think there's probably the player who had the biggest jump in what we were expecting of him before to what we were expecting of him at the end. Plus the fact that despite the red hair, he was able to control himself a lot better throughout the back end of the year, and I think we got a lot more value out of him and the minutes and everything that he provides. And shout out to Riff Raff in the Discord as well. The red 99 rule.
He just said in the comments there, I skimmed over Alex Seyfarth a little bit there. He's the official Seyfarth fan club in the Discord. Rob, what are your thoughts on our forwards there?
I couldn't go past Appy Coruscant. I mean, you could count all his bad games on one finger. Spoon Bowl. I think he was great every game he played all year. He gives it his all.
Even the other game where he went to the sin bin against the Sharks at Shark Park, like I don't think that was per se his fault, but that was still one of his better games when he was on the field.
It's a shame. Like obviously those sin bins let us down, but any mistakes he does are from effort. They're not from laziness. They're not from setting an example. It's just a shame that we've got two spoons since he's joined the club because it's not his fault. Like he's done everything possible. I love his nature. He's very humble. He's never. He doesn't like the praise that Benji heaps on him. Like he's always just trying to deflect and, it's not me. And that's just, and apparently he's been under a bit of adversity with his family life the last few weeks as well.
I think his wife's pregnant too.
But yeah, look, Appy for me, in terms of most improved forward, look, this was a hard one for me because obviously it's Samuel Afenu's first season with us. So how do you say he's improved when he hasn't really been with us a season before? But the reason I put Samuel Afenu is in the trial, in particular, like the first trial he played, I just saw this really brash hothead that just looked like a firecracker, was flying out of the line, was ill-disciplined, was giving away penalties. And for him to go from that sort of, brash sort of player to looking like a seasoned forward, an attacking threat every time he got the ball, not really getting penalised too much this year. I think he just made leaps and bounds. And that's no disrespect to guys like Bolle and stuff like that, but I thought Bolle was pretty good before this year anyway. So there wasn't really that margin for improvement for him. So maybe I shouldn't have even considered Samuel Afenu, but that's who I voted for. I just think he's been an absolute standout in the forwards, but I just couldn't put him past Appy Coruscant as best forward.
Moving on.
Samuel was also our first try scorer for the year, so that's pretty cool for him to be the first try scorer for the team for 2024.
Right. That was
did a scando.
Yeah, was that the last pass play from Lockie inside to was it Buller or something, and then Samuel got it. Was he that? Was that try?
Yeah, I think it was outside and then back in.
Back in, yeah, down the left of Canberra. Yeah,
Buller was the last pass that led to the try. Yeah,
so it was Lockie to Buller to Samuel.
To the back line, it's a full-on Pac-Man graph, this one. 95.4% of people said Lachlan Galvin. 3 people said Dream Buller is the best back this year. Charlie Staines got 1. Shouts to Charlie's mum for casting his vote in there. Latu in there as well, and Adam Dway here. Shouts to Adam. I know Adam's dad is a fan of the show.
Yeah, he's a fan of the show.
Yeah, he might have chucked in a vote for Adam there for best play in the back line there. But Lachlan Galvin, mate, we were talking about it in the Discord, how much this kid's worth the other day, and
give him a blank check and let him write whatever.
Yeah, some of the guys were like, "Oh, he's not worth $1 million yet." He is worth $1 million. I know he's obviously not at the $1 million level, but he is a certainty to be well over a $1 million player, and you cannot convince me otherwise. He is a generational talent, and I think we've mentioned this on the show before. If we lose Lachlan Galvin, I don't think after speaking to his parents and kind of getting to know him a little bit after the Spoon Bowl that we did, I'm pretty confident, and knowing that Richo's in charge and not a CEO might say, "Oh no, we can get Michael Gordon for half the price." I'm pretty confident Lockie. I think he's going to change. Dare I say it? He's a Nikola Jokic of this franchise, and he's going to lead us and completely transform the franchise and lead us to a premiership. Premiership is a tough one, But mate,
With
if
the right
he
pieces
if he
around
gets us to 8th place next year, we'll cheer him off the field. Like,
build him a statue outside
Yeah.
Campbelltown.
yeah, I love this kid. He's just like closer the perfect, going to be the closer the perfect football. I think he's going to be our Nathan Cleary.
I agree with you. And gee, wouldn't that be scary? The Galvinator with Nathan Cleary at Penrith, they probably win 10 premierships.
Don't put that in the atmosphere. Don't put that out in the ethers.
He's ours now. We're keeping him.
No, I think he can turn our club around. I think he can get us much higher than 8th. I think he can take us all the way. It might not be next year, but he can definitely get us to the promised land. Like Aaron said, we need the right pieces around him. Look, just, obviously having a bit of a chit chat to his dad, I can just see like his attitude is in the right place. His work ethic's there. He's humble. He does it with a smile on his face. He exudes his positive energy. You want to be around that sort of energy, and you can see it comes from his folks. Like his dad's, you got to meet him. You saw what a nice bloke he is. So look, I just think his football's got to develop. Obviously a little bit more. Like Benji's Benji's let him sort of do his own thing, play both sides of the ruck. Play what's in front of you. If you need to do a grubber kick, a chip over the top, an inside ball, outside ball, whatever, Benji lets him do that, which is great. So he's learning his way. But again, I just think, even the coaching side of it, he's got to be even given a little bit more. But again, if we get some good results next year and the year after, I think the intent would be that they'd love to stay with the club, like Lockie would love to stay with us. But again, if we've won 2 out of a dozen games next year, or we end up with half a dozen wins, I mean, it's going to get to a point where you'd start thinking, well, look, we love this place, just like James Tedesco loved this place. And, from chatting to his parents, like they're West Tigers through and through, and even though their son plays for the Roosters, they said back then, admittedly, we did have different management. There's chalk and cheese between, the clubs, the way the Roosters are run and the way we're run, and I'm sure Richo's turning that around. But then you see someone like Brooksy have a win on the weekend, and just see how happy he looked. I mean, I guess you only have a limited time span, so I hope Lockie stays with us. But again, I whatever happens, guys. We just have to do it. We don't deserve to keep Lockie Galvin if we don't start playing better. But we're not going to be playing bad or losing matches because of Lockie Galvin. We could see the difference this year when Lockie got that suspension against Parramatta. You could just see the difference in our attack. We didn't look as potent. We played the Dolphins the next week. We probably should have put them away. We didn't. And when he's in the team, we just look like we can score. Every time we got down Parramatta's end, in Spoon Bowl, he was carving him down the left-hand side. He set up 2 tries in the second half. He still carved him down the left. If, Junior Tupu had caught a couple of balls, we might have scored a few more tries. So I love everything the guy brings, and he's a winner. Like you can see the fact that we mentioned he's already about to embark on his, next season, starting next week pretty much with his pre-preseason training. He wants the ball all the time. He tackles really well for a 19-year-old. I mean, he's a big lad.
He's a big guy.
6'3".
Mate, us look small.
He's going to fill out a little bit, but like I said, this talk about moving him to lock and all that sort of stuff. Like seriously, give yourself an uppercut. This guy's a game manager, a match winner. He wants the ball in his hands, and him along with Jerome Luai, like that's exciting. Those 2 blokes, they're alpha blokes. They're winners, and like that's got to rub off on those other pieces, even if those other pieces aren't exactly what we want. I think those guys will be better for having those halves with them. And then you imagine how Jareen Bull is going to be. Like Jareen Bull will be running off those blokes. There's some encouraging signs there. But again, I feel like if we start like we did this year, getting 2 out of 3 wins, we should have enough confidence to really kick on with it. And that's what we didn't do this year, which was disappointing. So let's hope it all turns around next year, guys. We're all sick of this.
As just before you go, bring up Emmanuel's loyal listeners comment here. He said, not good to put all your eggs in one basket. I hate to see us depend on Galvin like Manly depend on Turbo. Lockie's talented, huge future. Just let him take a step at a time, not too many expectations. And that's true, Emmanuel. I'm not saying he alone is going to carry us. He obviously needs help around him, but he's going to have Jerome Luai for what, 5 years, and
Lockie will be there for at least 2 of them.
And Slay Buddy is mentioning our old mate Luke Brooks here, and Luke Brooks talking about Manly. I think saying depend on Turbo is a bit rough because Daly Cherry Evans is a massive part of that Manly side too, and he's a massive reason why Luke Brooks has come on this year. The difference between Luke Brooks, he's taken a pay cut. He was on $1.2 million here, and he's essentially given up 600K to play with more talent, and that's always going to end up being better for the player. Like at the end of the day, I mean, we don't begrudge him for taking $1.2 million from the idiots that ran this club, but the fact you got to put in perspective, he's playing outside Daly Cherry Evans. That's a big reason why Luke Brooks looks so good. And just wait till Lockie's got Jerome Luai.
Well, like you said earlier, none of us have played an NRL game. None of us have coached an NRL team. But
Not yet.
blind Freddie could see that Luke Brooks is not a game manager. He's not a number 7. Sheens, Marshall, the coaching staff, they all tried to make him a number 7 last year, which he wasn't. Okay. And he's gone to Manly. He's played 5'8". He's got that secondary role. Occasionally he'll do some kicking, but he just lets Daly Cherry Evans run the show. And that's perfect for Brooks. He chimes in when he needs to. He controls that left side when he gets the ball. And that they've identified where his best position is, where if he'd have stayed with us, I guarantee you he would have been wearing the number 7 this year, and it just wouldn't have worked again. And we would have been saying, bloody Brooks. But we all knew he should always have been a 5'8".
Yep. Sorry, Az.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, basically on what Emmanuel was saying, I agree, though. I don't think we depend on him too much. And I mean, if we keep the core of kids around that we've had come through this year, so the Latus, the Samuelas, the Sionis, the Bullers, the Galvins, give those kids the time to build up that core alongside the experienced players coming in, like Taruva, like Luai. Then there's a massive group of players there that if they can build together, they'll find more success together. And
just like 2005, that's what happened. We had a core of these young kids coming through, your Farrahs, your Marshalls, your Hyntons, your Fultons, your Gibbs, Bronson Harrison, Laidfield, Anthony LaFranchi, all coming through with your few pieces like Shane Elford, Fatawira, Hodjo, Pat Richards around them. And bang, we played the best football ever seen in the history of rugby league. Not to sound biased, but yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was the greatest year ever.
I was going to add something to that.
Sorry.
I've completely lost my thought. If it comes back to me,
All right, I'll go through
No, I've got it.
Okay.
So we talked a lot of, I guess, crap. Not necessarily crap, but how not that great for us that Caesar has been this year. But
I think he was great.
Well, in saying that, all of our wins came when he was in the halves with Lockie. Like Lockie, being the talented youngster that he is, having that experienced player alongside him was what he needed to shine and thrive. And with Luai coming next year, he's going to have that opportunity week after week after week to play what he sees off the back of whatever Luai sees. Because, I mean, I've looked at some of the tries that Luai scored for Penrith alone this year, gliding through the line, also setting up the players outside him, and his kicking game has come along in leaps and bounds too. And I just think there's a lot of potential there for him to build with the group of players that we've got now. If we can keep them all there, then the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, we should mention too, guys, that Caesar signed 2 years.
Yeah, he's off to the UK.
To England, and so and good luck to him, because honestly, I know he's there for 1 year and he didn't always play perfectly, but you cannot question his attitude and his professionalism, and he gave his all every game, and he did a lot of good things for us. So wish him all the best. And he really was I thought he was a good peg for us.
Yeah. No, thank you, Mr. Caesar. Improved player in the back line. So Lockie got 40% of this. It depends how you define this, because can you say improved when he didn't play first grade last year? But 19% for Charlie Staines was the next highest, and then Buller got 10.8. Which is interesting because a lot of people said he had second year syndrome. Latu Fainu 9%, Solomon Fatape 7%, Heath Mason call it 9%, Luke Lolly got 3, and Solomon Ali Malo got a couple as well. So a few players.
Just on Buller, I think maybe he did have a little bit of second year syndrome to start the year, but he kind of came into himself a little bit more towards the back end again. And like I said, when we did the review of the Knights game in Newcastle, one of my highlights of the season was how he came from absolutely nowhere and plucked the bomb out from under Kalen Ponga's nose.
Yep.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I think defensively last year he stopped everything. Like anytime someone made a break, even we highlighted Ravalawa, he stopped twice up in Magic Round.
Yep.
This year I found he's like last-ditch efforts weren't the same as last year defensively. Attacking-wise, I thought he was coming really good just before he got injured, to be fair. He really started looking threatening again. But, yeah, I didn't think he'd improved on last year too much. Although he did add a few strings to his bow, his overall performances weren't as good as the previous year.
Benjamin
He
said
needs to start communicating from the back and directing the defense a little bit more, I think, as well. I think that,
Maybe.
like you see some of the really good fullbacks able to do that with their eyes closed.
He'll learn.
If he can get that, he'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
Benjamin said this question was hard because how does a rookie show most improved? And then Emmanuel said the question was most improved, and now you meant to. I don't know. It is what you make of it, guys. It's not.
I agree. I stuffed up again. I put
it's all fun. It's all make believe.
I
anyway.
Put Charlie.
None of this all matters. We all live in a matrix. Which West Tigers player is your favourite? So a fun one. Speaking of things that don't matter, Lachlan Galvin again, 34.4%, 23% for Appy, call it 10% for Buller. Fanua Pole came in fourth with 7.6, and then Samuel Fainu. Oh, no, Fainu was tied fourth there. There you go. Riff. 7 people voted for Alex Seyfarth.
6 people and Riff.
Yeah. You're saying he's not a person. Alex Twal got 4, and then Johnny Bateman got 1.
He's leaving.
Justin Manamua got 1. Charlie Staines got a couple. Olam got a couple. Shouts to our Papua New Guinea listeners. Adam Dway, he got 1. Shouts Adam's dad again. Latu Fainu. And I put the option this year. 3 people said a player joining in 2025. So what did you guys vote in this one?
Personally, I'm on the Lockie Galvin bandwagon.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
It's hard not to. Just he's, amongst everything else about how good a footballer he is, his attitude is what we need at the club. So that's infectious. And yeah, I'm just excited to see him develop. But again, I think previously I probably voted for Adam and might have even voted for Dane Laurie one year. But I think Lockie's going to be my favourite player, hopefully for a long time to come.
Yeah, I'm on the Lockie Galvin Express as well.
Yeah.
I just think he's been sensational. His attitude, like Rob said, has been nothing but elite. And yeah, he's just looking to guide the way for he's looking to like older, more experienced players to guide the way for him. But he's coming out of his shell into his own. And I love the passion he has on the field as well. At the start of the season, I think he might have been in his shell a little bit more, but towards the back end of the year, if a player didn't like something, or if he didn't like something that a player did, like held the ball, then passed to him, he ripped into them, and you could see that he really, really, really bloody cares. And like Rob said, I hope to be on the Lucky Galvin Express for many years to come.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with Lachlan Galvin on this one. When it comes to this stuff, not for the second basketball reference of the night, I know people love that. I don't think anyone in the survey actually mentioned that for this year, so maybe I did improve on that. But when it comes to buying, so when I buy basketball jerseys, I tend not to get the most popular player. So if that makes sense, like I have no Carmelo Anthony jerseys. I have 15 Nuggets jerseys, not one Carmelo Anthony. I've got a few Jokic's, but a lot of Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Marcus Camby, a lot of players that, so I like being a bit more hipster when it comes to this stuff. So I don't know. If you looked at my betting account, it'd probably be Samuel Fainu. And he got up for me a couple of times.
Sean Bloor, wouldn't it?
Well, I can't vote for him. He's not an option anymore. I should have left him in there. So I think maybe because Samuel he's wearing the same number that Sean wore. So I might be Samuel Afenu, and he's just fun to watch. Just some of the plays that he make out of nothing. He's exciting, like you said. He was a bit of a hothead, but came on strong.
A couple of really good offloads leading to tries as well from him.
Yep. Righto. How are you feeling about 2025? So very similar to the Benji confidence graph. So I don't know if correlation is causation there, but 6 and 7. The most popular, so basically half of the U said 6 and 7. 5s and 8s are about 12%, 14%. Only one person 2 and below. I could bring up. I wonder who it is who's
Thank God I
not
put
feeling
3.
good. Seven people said
Otherwise, Raymond
three.
shame if it was
Yeah.
Rob.
11 people said 9. 7 people were 10 out of 10. They're looking for a premiership next year. So, what'd you guys put?
Yeah, I put 3.
I said 7.
Okay.
That adds up to 10.
10 between the two of us.
We'll get a comp.
What about you, Josh?
I think 6. I think I could change by the time we do the preseason survey. I could go up because we've got plenty. We've still got a war chest to spend. I don't know. I'm feeling. It depends. Again, it's semantics with these. Is a 10? Did people vote 10 because they think it's going to be a premiership, or do they think 10 because we're going to win?
Marked improvement.
Yeah,
So it's
we're going to be.
positive.
We're going to
talking
be a
about how
better.
positive
Yeah.
we are about, yeah.
So if it was, do I feel like next year will be better than this year? I think I'm 9.9. Like I feel like next year is going to be. It's.
So if you asked me this 3 months ago, I would
Yeah.
have said 7. But again, 3 months ago, I would have thought Bateman, Papali'i, and Steph were staying. And to be fair,
Bateman said he's coming
I really
back.
don't care if Steph's going, to be honest.
Well,
because
Bateman said he's
played
coming
shit.
back.
Well, Bateman apparently is coming
Yeah.
back. If he comes back, I think that's a good piece to have,
Mm.
guys. But yeah, we'll just see how again,
Yeah.
I say it every year. It's not up to us. It's up to the players, up to the coaches. They got to believe it, within their camp, and they got to set standards and set a culture there that provides winning and makes it easy to win. And we just can't.
It'll take one preseason photo, and I'll be at 9.
Yeah.
As soon as I see the boys out of the paddock in the new 2025 gear, I think I'll fanboy up and be ready for to get the hype train moving.
So, Josh, just quickly, if we were to look at ladder position next year, what would you say would be a good improvement on this year? Like,
I think it was Riff that said in the comments before top 10. I think top 10.
top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, top 10 this year was 11 wins. So 10th and 11th both won 11.
Or 10 wins.
While 8th and 9th won 12. So 12 and 12 for 8th and 9th. 10 wins would have us where the Broncos are in 12th. So, I mean, that's still a pretty good improvement. And that's actually kind of what I predicted this year, except I said 8 wins, which would have had us 14th. So
I think we can win 12. I reckon we can win 12 games next year. If we're healthy.
So you reckon maybe 9th or 10th? Maybe 8th, maybe sneak in there. The thing though,
8th will be like, holy shit, something went really, really well. Luai came and flipped the place upside down. Lockie's gone to Nathan Cleary 2.0 or something. I don't know.
the crazy thing is I'm absolutely amazed this year that 8th was 12 and 12 because you wouldn't expect a team that lost half of their games to make it into the top 8 teams in a 17 team competition. Last year, it was 13 wins was required to come 11th. And I think
in 29. What year was it that we won 12?
2019.
2019.
No, 2018. We won 12 in 2018.
Yeah.
And 15 was 8th, 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 16 was the top 4.
Yeah.
Like that was an anomaly, but just in so we've only had 2 years of the 17-team competition. And I honestly, going into this year, I once again thought 13 wins would be what was required. So the fact that the Knights made it in with 12 and the Raiders just barely missed out with 12 and on for and against goes to show that maybe the competition evened up a little bit this year. In saying that as well, I think first last year maybe lost about the same amount of games, and obviously last year won 2 less than what we did this year because obviously that was us again. So the competition's evened up a little bit, and will be interesting to see how that goes again next year.
Just on that, the Bears apparently going to be announced just after the grand final
Perth
this year. Yeah, which I think is a good thing. I'm good on all the Bears fans and Perth. I think Perth deserves to have another crack as well. But when we do go to 18 teams, what I think we should do, I don't know, throw this idea out there, is first week. So the AFL have a week off, I think, which is crazy. Why would you give a week off and let the NRL just have their spoon bowl week?
Because the two and then the 2 teams that win out of first through fourth get a second week off.
Week off, which is ridiculous.
Which I think what the NRL should do is when they go to 18 teams, it's a top 10, but everyone top 6.
So you're thinking the wildcard system?
The
1v6?
NBA play-in system. So 1 to 6 get a week off, 7 plays 10.
That's
and
the wild card system.
8 plays 9. Yeah, but the NFL system works on highest winner, loser, blah blah blah. I just
And
do
there's no
7.
week off, is there? There's only week off.
So what
the
what
NBA
what it would be-
system
what
is
it would be for the play-in would be 7 plays 8 and 9 plays 10.
but then you got to play 2 games.
But then you got to play an extra game.
Yeah,
so
the NBA works like that.
You're basically talking about the wild card system that's been suggested.
Like
Although,
in the NFL.
No, the wild for the NRL and AFL that they've been suggesting.
Yeah,
that whole
a wild card week.
And,
yeah,
6 get a
like,
weekend.
You call it a wild card week. Yeah, and so you play off for 7th. So the highest winner gets 7th, and the second highest winner gets 8th.
That does make a lot more sense with
top 6 gets rewarded for a week off.
Yeah,
like I think, and it's a week of you got that AFL rest round, but you still got 2 games of footy that are like elimination footy. It's an extra week of playoff footy. Like how good are the finals? I mean, some of the games are a bit shit. I mean, that Bulldogs Manly game on Sunday was so good. Imagine like a weekend of who was 9th and 10th this year? Did you say?
So Canberra were 9th.
Yeah, Canberra were 9th and the Dolphins were 10th. So based on that, 7th would play 10th, which would be Manly and Dolphins, and the Knights and the Raiders, who finished on equal points.
Tell me that wouldn't have been awesome.
Yeah,
Tell me that wouldn't have been
awesome. We discussed this on Twitter, but I still think there should be a Sydney conference and a non-Sydney conference. Because then you get all these crazy
of the
Sydney
conference.
Yeah, but if you make it Sydney teams, you get that tribalism. You get every semi-final game just about packed out, whether it's Saints, Canterbury, Para, Tigers, whoever. I think it's better than having like this week, like Cronulla and North Queensland. Seriously, how many people are they going to get to Moore Park for that game? Like it's just they're not going to get many fans at all. But Cronulla barely fill their home ground out.
I think looking at the top 8 or top whatever system moving forward with the 18 teams, you probably wouldn't want to keep a top 8 because obviously you've got 8 teams making it and 10 missing out, which is what they've got in the AFL right now. You could move it up to 9 and just say 8th versus 9th plays off for the last spot, or do the whole 7v10 and 8v9, which I think would also work. So that would be 10, like I guess qualify and 8 miss out, or 9 and 9, which would be a lot more even.
Yeah, it's a good point Emmanuel makes about the
he's saying that Perth, you play Perth on Sunday, Sydney. I think they'll work out that you won't go from Perth to New Zealand in 5 days and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they'd be doing back-to-back games.
I think there'd be a lot more 5-day turnarounds as well, though, because they'd have to shrink like breaks for a lot of teams.
I think Perth will get a lot of 7:30 Saturday games their time, so it's 9:30 Sydney Queensland time. So you got the 4 games back to back. So it works perfectly. They're 2 hours behind. Play 7:30, good for them. 9:30, good for us for a game after the 7:30 game. That's how I think. But
just with where we finish on the ladder, guys, I just want to say what I've said the last couple of years. I don't believe that we are going to finish between sort of 15th and 10th. I truly believe we either come last or second last, or we play finals. I think we've missed out for so long. If we learn how to win games, there's going to be a hunger there. There's going to be momentum. There's going to be crowds at every game like there is this year, willing the team on. I really believe if we learn how to win a lot of games early in the year, we're not putting taking the foot off the gas. I think we'll go. We've got to aim top 4, obviously, which is very hard to do. And then if you aim top 4 and you sneak into the top 8, that'd be great. That I do not see us finishing 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. I think if we're close enough, we're good enough to get there. So hopefully that gets proven right. But it pretty much has happened every year. I've always thought we're either going to finish finals or come nowhere, and that's what's happened the last few years.
Well, you remember 2009, 2005, 2011. They were just the team got on a roll in that second half of the year, and they were basically fucking Jared Hayden ruled 2009 for us. But it's true. It's that whole momentum of the players are confident, the crowd's confident, the crowd's behind them. It's just a whole snowball effect. And I think definitely this year there were games where if it had the 50-50s gone our way and we had got a couple of wins.
We could check the calendar, but I don't think
sliding doors moments.
In 2011, prior to losing to obviously the semi-final to New Zealand, I think our last loss had come in June. I think we'd won 9 games in a row.
I think
before losing to New Zealand.
I flew up to
2011.
I think Townsville was the first of the run because I flew up to Townsville for that game.
We won 9 in a row and then lost that 10th in a row, which we should have won. What were we up 8-0 or 14-0 against New Zealand?
Yeah. I was so close to fucking buying tickets to the Melbourne Storm game before that game.
Yeah, and you know that was no try.
Here you
in the
go.
Game.
This is 2011, so we had a bye in round 17, lost to the Eels after the bye, and then won every game.
Cowboys Townsville first, yeah?
Yeah, Cowboys,
Yeah,
Townsville,
I was at that.
Roosters Leichhardt.
Yeah, so
at
16th of
that.
July, we went on a.
I was basically at pretty much all those games too. I think.
Yeah.
Points. Did I go to the Sharks? I think I went to the Sharks game. I think I went to every single game.
I got out to quite a few of them.
Yeah. And when you don't have kids, it's very easy.
That semi-final win against St George, we were just in open seats and
Yeah,
absolutely
I was there with
poured, on
J-Bands,
us,
yeah.
poured on us half an hour before the game. It was
Yeah.
just crazy.
Fun fact for you is, I mean, you probably already know this, but the 3 seasons we've made the finals, we've done it from top 4. We've never finished.
You
fifth
never
to
finished
eighth.
5 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know
Never
that.
realised that till you just said that.
Because I think it's 4th, 3rd,
But we've
and
never done it in the new
2nd
system.
or 4th, 3rd, and 3rd.
They were in the
Yeah.
McIntyre system. Though.
You're in the McIntyre. It might have been. What was 2010?
In 2010, if one result went the other way, the Tigers would have been out first week as well. That's
Yeah.
how shit the McIntyre system. We finished top 4 and we were
Yeah,
we were
think
close.
third. I
We
think
were
third.
close. And if we had won, the Roosters would have been out. And let's not talk about old things.
I really would like to see us play finals under this new system, because I think it's a lot more
Oh, I'd like to see us play
exciting, and
final.
I think it makes it a lot more interesting where all of the top 4 are guaranteed that second chance if they cop a loss in that first week, and that's their reward for finishing top 4. While first and second are guaranteed 2 home games, while 3rd and 4th are guaranteed
I
one.
think the new system's perfect.
I like the
Yeah.
system we've got now. Although,
Just bring the
although
play-
to be
bring in
fair,
the
I don't
wild
think
card.
it's much of an advantage for 3rd and 4th. They seem to play the best 2 teams and get smashed every first.
I mean, 4th is the one who I guess cops it the most. Like it's the
Guaranteed
same
a
thing
home
with the
game next
NRL
week,
and the
though.
AFL, where 4th you play first, so you're fairly likely to lose that one, and then more than likely you're going to play 5th. So there's a decently high chance you go out in straight sets, which is exactly what happened to GWS in
and
AFL
they've
this
got
year.
the confidence of winning that previous week as well.
Yeah.
So they're-
And they had a
2010.
fairly simple game in inverted commas against 8th
2010, who came first? Dragons?
Dragons.
Yeah, so if we had got the Dragons first up, we only lost to them by a field goal in the prelim.
Mate, if Toddy Payton doesn't go down to training,
Yeah.
with them, and Jeremy Smith knees in the back, we still should have.
So what is
beaten
it?
the preliminary
Panthers?
final.
Panthers was second.
Panthers was
Oh,
second,
yeah.
Tigers 3rd, Titans 4th. So
The
was
way it worked,
Titans
I think we would have played
versus
Tigers in
Warriors.
the prelim had we won that game. I believe. If other results went the same way.
Yeah.
Back to the survey. Which West Tigers player was most disappointing this year? Half of the votes only went to Steph, so obvious
Wow.
reasons. 48.5% of the vote. Next highest was Johnny Bateman of 15%, 12% for Jaden Sullivan, 7% for Brent Nathan. Clemmer got a few hits. Pap got a couple. Caesar got a couple. Lob got one. I mean, fair enough. We thought he played first grade, and he only played a couple of games. We were on the Lob City bandwagon. I see where they're coming from, whoever that is.
I see it now. I didn't see it at the start of the year, but I see it now.
Staffatoa got a couple. Staffatoa was a bit rough. He got injured all year. Adam got it.
We just had so many players cop.
Adam came back
massive
from injury.
injuries.
It's
Yeah,
a
but
bit harsh.
Staffatoa was missing tackles before he got
Olam 4. I mean, Olam, you could make a good argument for Olam. Buller, a couple, I guess. Yeah, again, semantics. However, you read this question to
for the
be.
season.
True.
Who'd you boys vote for?
I went Brent Naden, guys. I think we've forgotten what Brent Naden can be like at the top of his game, and I just thought in that team he should have locked down a backline spot, and he was rubbish all year. So I agree. Steph fell out the window once the contract negotiations were going on. Like, he was terrible, but I mean, at least Steph was still in first grade.
He was top 5 in our
Brent
3-2-1
Naden
vote.
was, playing halfback in Reggie's, a couple of times. So yeah, for me it was Brent Naden. What about you, Aaron?
I said Stefano. He just fell off a cliff after, I'd say, that round 6 game against the Dragons, and we never saw the best of him after that. And it was just really disappointing to see basically the fall off in form. And like you just said, Josh, he finished top 5 in our best and fairest for the year. But in saying that, I think it was probably first or second when he fell off the cliff, because he was getting a lot of votes in those early weeks.
I didn't vote.
I can't bet you.
I'm the host. I didn't
vote.
vote.
Feel like who
Yeah,
you got a few to choose from there.
Yeah, it depends. Like I said, it's the semantics of how you read the question. I like your argument for Nathan. I was a Nathan sympathizer. Sympathizer.
Sympathizer, not
Sympathize?
sympathizer.
Yeah, not a sympathizer. I didn't make sound bites of him. Yeah, I see that argument because I thought he was the best centre that we.
in the club.
Yeah.
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 Did you say if there were any votes for Olam?
Yeah, there
there
were a
were
few.
4%, I think it was.
Yeah, there
But
were a
that
few.
might have just been because he's got bung knees. Like,
I mean,
that
that's
was- I mean,
disappointing.
he
That's
did play some-
disappointing.
That is disappointing.
Yeah.
So I can
The
understand.
word
that.
disappointing. Someone getting
Especially if you
injured
came
is
to the club with those
disappointing.
bug knees.
Well, that's the talk now about signing Jack Bird because we've got Jack Bird, Justin Olam, and now Adam who had knee issues. And
If I had to said underperformed, maybe votes. Yeah, it's all on
Yeah,
my
it is.
wording that I took 3 seconds to
to
write
put
it
up
out.
Copy and paste
so.
from last year.
One I added this year. So tick all the West Tigers players you want to stay for at least 3 more seasons. And I'm actually surprised how bare this one is. So Lachlan Galvin, somehow 7 people didn't vote for him. So 124 out of 131 ticked Lockie Galvin. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't realize you could vote for more than one.
Email the
that's
podcast,
yeah.
guys. We only want to ask you a few questions.
I could, should I name and shame him? I'll open up the spreadsheet.
I did think that when I started filling it out. Then when I clicked on the second,
Yeah, I
person,
should have
realised that
written
it
tick all
saved.
that apply. Yeah, I
That's
should have.
okay. It's all
Yeah.
good.
So I'll forgive those 7 people.
Yeah,
Maybe
the,
those.
the square boxes. I think some people mistake the square boxes for the circular ones because with the squares you can tick as many as you want. The circles, it's
Yeah.
one option only.
Samuel Egg was next highest with 83%, 75.6 for Fanor Pole. Dream Buller not far behind there, 74%. Talon de Silva, 65%. Latu Fanu, 67%. Appy, I guess you could argue, will Appy be too old in 3 years? So only 57%. A player joining in 2025, 52%. So I guess you could, I don't know why I left that in there. You could be anyone, but I guess Luai for sure.
He's going to be
3
here for
years.
5 years, so
Yeah, well, if he
3
sees
years
out the
easy.
contract.
3 years plus a couple.
Johansson got 33%. He's higher than a lot of the others. So, yeah. So in terms of a pass mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and yeah,
Who do you answer,
3
Rob?
years. Flip 21
well,
players in 3 years.
Don't want to turn this into a 3-hour podcast. I'll just read out the names that I voted for, and I think this was in the order that you had them on the sheet, Josh. I went Latu Fanu, Lockie Galvin, Dream Buller. I want to see John Bateman and Appy Coruscant there, even though they're getting a bit older. Samuela Fanu, Sione Fanu, a player joining in 2025. So
Yeah.
obviously that's your Jerome Luais. And look, we've got a very small sample.
No talent?
Very. I didn't actually see his name on the list.
Yeah.
But anyway, I put Tony Suka even only on his 15-minute performance. So there's not really
Yeah.
much sample size there to refer to. And I did put Tim Johansson, and I'm actually surprised he never got another go after his cameo
Yeah.
at Leichhardt Oval. So they're the ones I put. What about you, Aaron?
I kept it kind of simple. I said all 3 of the Fanus. Then I added Galvin and Buller and Pole.
Yep.
I probably should have ticked De Silva as well because I like De Silva and I think he offers a lot. And once Appy does retire, he does look to be probably option number 1 at hooker. I didn't tick Appy because he's only got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, I
and
thought that too.
have a
That's why I
feeling
want to see him there for a third.
Just
Yeah.
realized I didn't put the lollies on there. I think because they're not in the top. They're not in the top 30. So
Is there anyone on that list,
At-
Josh,
at-
that you would vote for that we haven't mentioned? Like any of the players that
I mean, there's a chance. I guess again, semantics. Like Jordan Miller, I think if he has a good preseason, can turn into a player. So I wouldn't write him off. Matamua, who knows what he's got? He's got the talent, but just doesn't seem to have gone to that next level. Twolly, a little bit harsh. 21. How old's Twolly now? 26, 27?
probably around that age. I'm
Probably
not sure.
around
Yeah,
there,
I think it's a bit rough to. At the end of the day, you can't have all superstars, and you need guys like 12. Depending on money. Again, it's all dependent on money. Safe half, 39%. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a personal attachment to guys like that who have been
12's 28.
28. Okay, yeah, 31 still not old. So I'll be sad. Like if Twoley left the club, it'd be pretty sad. Like he's been an institution at the club. For
He
a while,
debuted the
so.
day before his 21st birthday as well.
We'll move on to which player will we which player departing will we miss the most? Pap was the highest, 56%, 23% for Steph, 13% for Aiden Caesar, 7% for Junior Tupu.
Good choices there, I think.
Mm.
That
Probably,
pretty much
that's probably
sums
the
it up.
order I'd put them in as well.
Yeah, I'd say that. I went Pap. What about you?
Yeah, Papali.
Would you
Yeah,
say
Pap.
Josh?
Pap.
We just didn't
Only-
get the best out of him because of what we
sure.
were expecting based on him coming from Parramatta, but he just didn't have the halves and the experience.
Put
the
Put
good
him in the
players
back row.
around him.
Put him in the second row next year, and he will not be able to fail having either
You would
Lockie
not
or
be able to
Jones.
stop him. Yeah.
Well, it sucks. He never the whole thing. He didn't want to come, and now he's got. Yeah, it sucks. Jerome Luai. Which incoming player are you most excited about? Jerome Luai, 89%. Drell Skelton got 6 votes. A few for Sinua Taruva, and a few for Fago. I put Fago to. How do I pronounce that?
Fagutu, I think. Yeah.
Same to
Because he's been promoted to the top 30 next year. Royce Hunt got a single vote.
Did you put this out before the Dogs Manly game, or was it after?
Yeah, before.
Before.
Well, people could have filled it in.
You probably would have had most fill it in before, and I'm just wondering how many people would maybe say Skelton.
I could look at. I could
Dogs
actually
game.
Rocks or Diamonds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He did some good things. He ran the ball really hard. But
Monster hit.
But didn't finish off that try in the right hand corner, and that try to Kohler, I just thought he was terrible the way he tried to. He didn't take anyone. He didn't take the winger or Kohler.
Great carries out of his own end of the field.
Really strong. He's very raw. He's got a lot more learning to do.
It was only his 6th game of first grade, I think, as well, and it was a final, so against a team that were pretty determined and pretty hungry.
Yeah, it showed.
What was the date on Sunday? I could actually look up how many people had voted before.
Sunday was the 15th.
Sunday was the 15th, so that'd be full time was what, 8 o'clock at night?
6.
Yeah, it was a 4 o'clock game.
So by then, 90 people had voted.
Yeah, so most.
Yeah,
75% of the.
I mean, in saying that, Jerome Luai being option number 1 probably still wouldn't have changed all that much. But
exactly,
he is the main man coming next year, and I do hope he's going to be at least leadership group. I hope he's at least vice captain to Appy, because I think that partnership there, if he takes over while Appy's off the field having a breather, which I hope happens a little bit more often, then I think there's a lot of potential there too.
People did tick what games you attended this year, so the ones at the top were, as expected, the home games. Spoon Bowl and Sharks at Leichhardt were tied first. Dragons at Campbelltown, not far behind. Titans at Leichhardt. So basically, all the Leichhardt and Campbelltown games are pretty much up there. And unfortunately, the Dragons at Campbelltown and the Eels at Campbelltown, where the team just shut the bed. Big crowds. Yeah, high anticipation, and then just so much disappointment in those.
Certainly was.
And I said off air as well, kudos to that one person who did the survey who said they went to the Sharks game at Shark Park because
one in New Zealand
holy
too.
moly.
You hate that place.
Not only that, but the result.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
went to 12. I went to all the Campbelltown games, all the Leichhardt games, and I went to Canberra and I went to Newcastle.
I went to.
Yeah, I think I did all home games.
I went to 12 as well, but so there were the 5 and 5, and I also went to the Dogs game.
Yeah, we're at the Dogs
and Easter Monday.
I wish I went to the Dogs game. It would have kept me off Twitter.
I'm trying to think. I did all home.
You don't need that reminder, do you?
I probably would have got locked up at the ground anyway.
All home games plus Easter plus Gosford. I was at Gosford, and also there was another one that
you went to the Dogs game as well with family.
Dogs, sorry.
I walked. You just went with me that time.
Wish I got to Combank though when we beat Para. That would have been some atmosphere.
Yep, as and I were there. That was
the next. My dad and my brother as well.
Yeah,
so next question: favorite game of the season? Yeah, that's beating the Eels. Is
that was your
better.
favorite?
I fucking hate the Eels. So
I said the Manly at Leichhardt game for a reason that no longer is relevant. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. We won't go there.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. Any other reason?
it was great to beat Manly there.
Yeah.
Reminded me very highly of the 2017 game there, where I was sitting there on the other side on the in front of the hill, and we had that massive comeback, and the celebrations were nothing like I had ever seen before.
Yeah, I actually went the Cronulla game, guys, because I went there that night thinking, hey, we're going to get pumped. Cronulla had already played 2 games. They conceded 18 points, I think, in their 2 games. And in both those games, they hadn't conceded a point after the 15th minute. So they literally went scoreless. So to get a 32-6 win, I thought was just out of this world. But I've got to be honest, like walking down Mary Street and walking into the ground, you just felt like something was going to happen. Just like, you know what? I think we're going to win tonight. It was just a crazy vibe. It was such positive energy there. And then obviously we were going off our heads. Like that's just one of the best nights of my life. That was so good.
And the fact that they scored the first try and then we kept them scoreless after that, like that was a hell of a try by Hazelton. And we just rolled them. Yeah, it was his first touch, and we just rolled them after that.
Yeah, no, we were just awesome. And that's what hurt about this year, to see back-to-back wins like that, and it was just such a high bar, and I don't think it was unrealistic. It showed what we are capable of, but then just not to be able to reproduce that for the next couple of months was just awful.
So voting-wise, the Sharks game was just the highest over Manly at Leichhardt. So the 2 Leichhardt games, 26.9, 26.2, and then Easter was 23.8. 17% for Raiders at Campbelltown. Did we won that this year? Raiders, we won.
Yeah, we scored 48.
That was the 48-24, but it was only 48-24 because they scored 3 tries with Safe in the bin for 10 minutes.
That's right.
South at Campbelltown got a few as well.
That was also the game that broke the Campbelltown drought of 10 losses in a row.
Yep. What a way to break it.
That's right. We won on a 4-pass call. That's right. That's up there. I like beating South as well. Yeah, the Manly one too. I think the fact that was our first video that we did post game as well. The Titans win. I took my son to that one too. That was like a special thing to do. Hopefully the Leichhardt game. I fucking hope the Leichhardt games next year are on a
and Sunday.
I don't care. I don't care who the opposition is.
3 o'clock.
Or Saturday 3 o'clock or Sunday
8 o'clock.
Day games. Give us day games for the 3 Leichhardt games, not Thursday night, not 6 p.m. Friday. Give us kid-friendly time slots for the Leichhardt games.
Give us
please.
The Panthers there on a Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. That'd be an absolute.
I don't care who we play. I don't care who we play.
You got to remember, we did get 6 wins out of 10 between Campbelltown and Leichhardt. That's a pretty good effort.
I think we'll get not the shit teams, the out of town teams for the suburban grounds, which makes sense. And I think Dogs, Para, Dragons will probably be the Combank.
Panthers maybe as well. Yeah.
Panthers might be Campbelltown. Don't know. We'll see.
November.
It'll need Combank. It'll fill it up.
Yeah. It might get reciprocal too, because they're doing Combank next year too, aren't they? The Panthers?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be good if
they're doing like 8 games there, I think, and a few extra.
So if we play the Panthers
regional.
If we have the Panthers and Eels, I know people hate that we'll play the Eels as a home game there, but we get free tickets for both. The Eels won't do that; they're arseholes.
Our home game against the Eels will be the Easter one next year because we alternate that. So highly likely that will be at Combank.
And our home game,
it's a 30K stadium.
Sucks. It should be at a core stadium. It's the perfect day.
That was one of the few things that the last management did right.
50,000
people.
That
game to a core, so it wasn't played there, and we also got bigger crowds there for the Easter Monday games that we hosted.
Why can't we run the NRL?
Shame we lost both of them.
Least favorite games: 65% people said Spoon Bowl. Dragons at Wollongong was the next highest. That's surprising.
That was the first flogging we copped.
They copped a flogging, I guess. But
after we led at half time and we didn't score a point in the second half.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Like 42-0 in the second half.
Sharks got 7%. At Bulldogs 4%. At Broncos at Campbelltown 2%. A couple for Bathurst Panthers. Least favorite game. We had the Panthers. We had the Panthers game. If it wasn't for that sin bin, we're in the game in that one. Dragons at Campbelltown. got 5 votes, and then one person voted for @Raiders. That was he hated the season starting.
What are the little ones over here between the
Oh,
pink
and
and
then
the...
one vote for Cowboys at Leichhardt.
That was me.
At Newcastle.
Was that
I
because
got
of the
one.
send off?
Yeah, the send off that I still believe wasn't a send off, and just the fact of how it left me feeling afterwards. And like you guys saw the state I
Yeah.
was in emotionally afterwards, and
Yeah.
that was just a rough night.
Right, moving on to memberships for next year. So about half of you said you're renewing for next year. 21% said not a member this year, unsure about next year. 12% said wasn't this year, but I'm back in 2025, baby. 7% said not this year, not next year. 8.5% said was a member, but unsure about next year. And then a couple for was this year, but not next year. So yeah, I thought people would be more back on the Tigers.
Might
for
need to
next
see a few
year.
wins to bring a few people back.
Yeah,
I mean-
we're
I
obviously
mean,
all
yeah.
renewing.
Luai coming should attract more fans, but then there's other fans that are just sick of losing every year. So no matter, and they're sick of hearing all the pump up talk and
Yep.
you know
Might be the stadiums too.
promising the world and delivering an atlas.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think membership numbers will go up next year.
I hope so.
It'd be good if we get a win straight out of the
Do
gate.
we know where we finished this year with membership? Did we crack 9,000?
I think we cracked the 9. I don't think we cracked the
We didn't
10.
crack the 10. Okay.
What tier? So about a third said non-ticketing. A third said 5-game flexi, which is a bit confusing. This 5-game flexi for next year, but full season. 15% interstate, about 11%, 7% for other, and one person said elite or platinum. So
Was that you?
That was.
no, I didn't vote, but yeah,
I
that-
thought that straight away.
yeah. I might go back to platinum and platinum. Yeah, platinum next year. Jen, I mean,
Not
shouts to
important.
our 7 females that filled out the. This is more just to kind of know.
A lot of people in the what could we do better next year said more
Women.
female.
And as we said,
guests.
we get that every year, and we open invite anyone to come on the show, and just every time we put out the word, "Hey, can you find us an opposition fan?" Like no one's ever put their hand up. We 100% would love to have a female on the show. It's just-
Absolutely.
we
They're all-
There's
can't-
something.
chicken
There's something
shit.
for all the listeners.
Every
If you
time
have
we
any,
invite one of them on, they all pike out.
if
Not
you
gonna
have
men-
any
not gonna
female
mention
Had a
Tigers
couple-
fans,
had a
get them
couple
involved.
call
Mention
in.
colours, no.
Had a couple call in. They're not. Yeah, but ladies out there, all 7 of you, if you want to come on the show next year, put your hand up and come on. But
Plus all the blokes, invite your female friends who support the club to get on board with the show, listening and potentially joining
single friends, send them, send some photos in. We'll pass them on. Age wise, so pretty mixed bag here. It's pretty good. About a 30 are millennials, about a 30 are Gen Xers. So as and I are millennials. Roberto, you're a Gen X, one of those angry Gen Xers.
Happy one now.
About 13% of boomers, so 60 plus, and then quite a few Gen Zers as well. So about 17% for the Gen Zers as well. So I didn't put kids in there because
Fair enough.
they
Other than
probably
teenagers.
yeah, I don't recommend. Yeah, I
Not a for kids show.
yeah, and
We're a little too
I didn't
passionate for
really.
that.
Yeah, it's just avoided that. Supporter heritage, about half of Balmain, 30% neither. So always supported West Tigers like as, and 19% Magpies.
It's quite interesting because I remember you doing one of these surveys once before, and I felt like we were 25% Magpies, 25% Balmain, and
Yeah.
half our audience was just West Tigers. So maybe some
Do we
West
piss
Tigers
off
fans have
some
dropped off
Magpie-
and we've
piss
kept
off
the
some
Balmain
Magpies,
ones.
yeah.
we might have.
Yeah, I know. I feel like Balmain was always a bit higher, but yeah, it wasn't 50-50
No.
to Balmain previously. So we love our Maggies. Shouts to Shane and all you.
Jersey there it is.
Maggies. Yeah, with the Maggies jerseys up there behind us. We love. It's 25 years. I mean, full for me for putting this up. It's just interesting to know what. It's more just to see how many people are making that 30%. It's up to 30%. I think that's higher. The guys and girls like who don't remember either Balmain or Favorite sporting team? Yeah, it's hard to. I was hoping that it'd kind of collate, but yeah, a lot of
Each category.
yeah, a lot of different.
Jason chuck the Swans.
Yeah, Swans
kind of
might
people.
have been. I don't know. Did you flick through those answers? I think Swans might have been the
Yeah,
most
I'm not sure. I put
the
Richmond.
most popular.
Yeah, Swans was there a fair bit. There might have been a couple of other AFL teams. I saw a few
Yeah.
NFL teams in there too.
It's just. I know this has nothing to do with the West Tigers. It's just always interesting to hear about you guys and what you like and what kind of.
Sixers and Thunder were in there for the Big Bash as well.
Oh, was there Thunders in there? Were there? Good on you. I'll see you.
Near the top of the.
Yeah, good on you, my fellow Thunder sufferers. I'll see you at what's it called? NG Stadium this summer. I've already got tickets for the. Do you get tickets for the Sydney Smash?
Not yet, but I'm looking to get them.
My family and I.
Depending on if I get a job or not, that might make that a bit more
We
complicated.
get as a job, so we go to cricket. So if you're out there, someone. Yeah, I'll be there with my son again. He made his BBL fan debut last year.
It was a shame the game didn't get completed. It was washed out.
Yeah. That's the issue with playing in Sydney. Games never finish. Or you get rolled for, what was it, 12? I went to watch the Thunder and they got rolled for 12.
I'll never let you or my brother or my dad live that down. That was something else.
All out for 12.
All out for, against the Strikers a couple of years
I don't
ago, the
follow
Thunder.
I left after the 4th wicket.
You just waited for the game to finish.
By the time I walked home, it was
over.
It's a 15-minute walk home.
It did not take long at all
before I got home.
Some spectacular catches in those 10 wickets, though.
I never watched it.
Should have called it the Big Thrash.
It really was.
Oh, yeah, that's nice work. In terms of other sports, 41% said you're international cricket fans, and about 30, bit more than a third said BBL, EPL, and NFL. NFL higher than NBA, which is interesting. I guess football fans kind of, because I know I know a lot of both. I think be interesting to see how many. Actually, side note, I was talking to, I was at a work function the other night, and I was chatting to a lovely man. I didn't ask him his age, but I reckon he was 80-ish, and we're in a sports bar, and NFL was on the TV, and he said he's a Green Bay Packers fan, and I just thought it seems to be like, it's very weird seeing boomers that are NFL or American sports fans, because they seem
Didn't
to
they win like the first Super Bowl though? They're like a pretty
Yeah,
famous
they're
team.
kind of
Vince
like
Lombardi was the greatest coach.
yeah,
and all that sort
they're
of
kind of like
stuff,
the rabbit. But how would he have watched it when he was a kid?
he wouldn't have been able to watch
Yeah.
it unless he lived over there.
Yeah.
He would have just got footage a week later or something.
Yeah.
They never had it televised.
That's the thing with this new generation of kids. They're all just Ronaldo mad. They're what's the other guy? LeBron. Like that's what you
Messi.
see them getting around in. They're not wearing NRL jerseys. They get on the internet and they watch other sports. So like the NRL is worried about AFL, they're going to worry about every single sport in the world is a competitor at the moment. And the kids, they jump on the soccer bandwagon. Put $1 off every freaking Ronaldo or Messi jersey. How many kids like Ronaldo or Messi? Like, I don't know. Wayne Pierce. So I just asked a few people, 21% of people, when did you start listening to the WestsLife podcast? 21% of you said in 2019. That was the first year that I started the podcast. I got you guys on at the end of the season was it end of 19 or start of 20?
It feels like it's 19, I think, for me.
No, you had me on. I was the first out of myself, Shane, and Rob to come on your show, and that was mid 2020. And Rob and Shane started as co-hosts alongside you in 2021. I remember because it was the
I don't remember.
And I had a couple
feel
more
right.
Because I remember your debut. You predicted Tarmel.
I did, and that was 2020. That was like a rant in 2020.
I reckon you're wrong on that.
Right.
I'll tell you why. Because I remember working for a company while I was doing the podcast. I haven't been there for nearly 5 years.
Yeah, it's been 5 years.
So I feel
It's
like
our fifth year, 1921, 2, 3. 5 years this year, so it'll be 6 next year.
Before then, I feel, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, 2019 started just me. I spoke to Marina Gove, episode 1, and
Anthony Wiggle,
and then he I had, who did I have on? Mick Lebinskas.
Oh wow.
the Magpie legend.
You had Robbie on earlier, I think, as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was.
That was fine there.
Yeah, Rob was
Ah.
with
Later on.
Robbie,
Later on.
That
Adam,
was 2 years ago.
Sean.
That's when I
A
used
lot of people in the feedback did say, "Get players on," and we will try and do that.
Well, we
now
weren't
that-
allowed to. We can say
We weren't
that now.
allowed to.
Yeah, the management. Put
Yeah,
no on it
but
'cause they
not-
hated us.
Not Richo.
No, not Richo.
Richo. We
No,
reached out to
Pasco-
Richo.
Pasco, they made a new rule just because of us. Everyone had to get
Yeah.
approval from their media department before they could do any
Yeah.
interviews. So that was their way of stopping us going directly to the players or the managers.
Yeah. How did you find us? So basically, how did you discover us? So social media, a big one. There you go. So I'll keep pumping out.
I
stuff
don't
on the
actually
socials.
remember how I found this podcast. I do remember listening to some of the early episodes in 2019 when I started to listen to podcasts on road trips to and from games and things like that. But I
Hmm.
don't actually remember how I found your show when you had first started. I mean, I didn't start right at the beginning. I think I came in a little bit
Hmm.
later towards the end of the year.
Oh, people that listen
I
to
still
me
don't
solo,
remember
you're a real one. Me just talking shit by myself. You were Twitter, I think, Rob.
Yeah,
That's how we met.
You got me via Twitter.
Mm.
I actually rejected you when you invited me on the show. Remember, it took me you took your 2 goes to get me
Yeah,
on.
that's the story of my life.
Created a monster,
And then Tripper came along.
and then we bought
along
Tripper.
I then
on
we
too,
bought Tripper,
went
yeah.
viral.
Yeah, a few newspaper headlines later. How do you listen? So interesting. 35% Spotify, 15%. So basically more than half for audio only. So apologies to all the
That's a wise
the
decision.
audio only. The pretty pictures that we make and stuff. I do recommend going to YouTube if you want to see the visuals that I spend a couple of hours on before the show doing. But sometimes maybe, kind of forget that people can't see what we're talking about. So we need to be a bit more descriptive
Sure.
in our language. And remember that people, drive. I guess people, you drive and you're not going to watch it. So shouts to no matter how you consume it, in the car, in the bath, whatever, as you go to sleep. Maybe we lullaby some people off to sleep as they listen to us. Do you have podcasts on to sleep?
I don't listen to podcasts at all. The only
Oh,
last
okay.
3 podcasts I've listened to were Shane Richo. Every time
Yeah,
Shane
right.
Richards is on, I want to hear what he's got to say.
If I'm home alone, which is very rare these days, having a wife and a child. But back in the day, what I used to do when I was in high school, I like having something on to fall asleep to. I used to put 12 Man CDs on.
Oh,
I would
okay.
fall asleep
Wouldn't
to
you be
12
laughing,
Man
though?
12 Man CDs. Well, I don't know. It's just a weird thing I did in high school. So I'd fall asleep with Richie Beno
That's great.
in my or Billy Birmingham in my ear. 65%.
It's funny, Josh. A lot of your watched or listen time from Apple Podcasts way back when would have come from me. But since I started coming on the show more often, I don't listen to it anymore because I mean I already
We're
know
doing
I already know what's talked about,
Exactly.
and the sound of my own voice is a little bit weird. So
A couple of people mentioned I didn't put horse racing as an option, which is a bit hypocritical, isn't it? Because we do throw out the ponies sometimes. Tom mentioned Bathurst is coming up. Well, Sandown was on the weekend. Sandown
It's
wasn't,
right up your
wasn't a
alley,
bad
VO
race.
Tiger.
Yeah. First year in a while, I won't. I'm choosing to take my son to Monster Jam instead of going to Bathurst this year.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good dad you are.
Yeah. Yes. So it's a Monster Jam if you're listening. Annoying that you chose Bathurst weekend. A lot of people are annoyed that because obviously a lot of petrol heads are annoyed at that. But anyway, back to the rugby league stuff. What people enjoyed. So most people enjoyed our game review. Most people enjoyed the news. Player ratings, people 50-50. A lot of people in the comments, they want the 1 to 10 system back. So I might bring the 1 to 10s back next
maybe
year.
chuck that in the start of the season survey if people want us to go back to that.
Match preview 50-50. Stats man, basically half 50-50 on the stats.
So I'll take that.
You're beating me.
Rob Shadamas, NRL tips, only
Depends whether we win or
40%.
lose.
Yeah, there was a lot of feedback in the comments. A lot of people,
We dropped
Look-
off that though this year.
Yeah, a lot of people
Because the
don't-
early shows.
when it comes to gambling, either people are fully into it or people just
Hate
don't. People want to avoid it completely. So maybe we'll make it a
It's
Patreon
only a
only.
guide.
Patreon-
I mean, it's only
yeah.
a guide at the end of the day.
but yeah, maybe we'll make that a Patreon only thing or something. Maybe Rob Shadamas can be for the Discord only or something. We'll do
the
it.
fact that we started going to Tuesday episodes and just doing the one a
Instead of
week
Monday,
made it
Wednesday.
a little bit more complicated because
does.
obviously it's a lot harder to like bet on NRL in particular when team lists have only just come out basically 4 hours before we go live.
Patreon. Some people like Patreon, which is just surprising because it's just me reading rants. More than half of people like that.
Some
So
can give us really good questions.
they
that
do.
can
I'm not saying it's the
discussion
guys, but
topics
it's
too.
my reading. People like me reading. That's surprising. So
Sometimes I take over as well.
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. What people didn't enjoy. So Rob Shadama's got a bit of a hit there. So yeah, maybe.
Ooh,
Like I said, there's a lot of
It's only out of 30.
people either people
okay.
love gambling or they hate it. So maybe we'll do a little we'll do a Rob Shadamas in a Patreon only podcast
maybe
or
on
something.
Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Chuck out a few
Yeah, that might be illegal as well.
Instagram story, maybe.
Righto, boys, you got some rants, some of the best rants there, so I can.
You shoot, Aaron. I really haven't had a look at this too much, to be fair.
I'll bring up Phil. Phil sent us £10 from lovely England. He said, "Thanks for what's £10 now? That's about
$20.
$20 ish. Yeah, that's £10. That's what does that get you at Tesco, Phil? Thanks for another year of great podcast, guys. We'll hopefully catch up with you next year
Thanks,
when I
Phil.
visit Australia in April. 100%, Phil. Yeah. So come to Easter. You can come to April. You'll be leaving. It'll be spring in England, man. You'll be leaving springtime in England to come to. You'll probably swim at the beach when you come to Australia in April. I guess still pretty warm. Then, but good on you, Phil. Holy shit! Brandon just sent us $31. Sent us a case of beer to finish this year. Oh, Shane just sent us 12. The boys, they're bringing out
Boys
the
are lighting up.
it's like a strip club in here.
I wouldn't
Brandon-
use that, I
Okay,
wouldn't use
close
that particular analogy,
Brandon
but all right
W,
then.
$31. Thank you for another year, fellas. Glad to met you all in person this year. Been listening for 3. It was great to meet you. We met Brandon after the Manly
He was a
game.
white card as
Yeah.
well, going off.
Very
Very passionate.
I met Brandon at Campbelltown, and it's the first time someone's ever asked me to get a picture with him.
good on you, Brandon.
So that was a surprise.
Been listening for 3 years now. Hope all donations help you out this year. Hope you have a safe off season. And then Shane, oh man, he said $20 to say thanks for all your effort, guys, and thanks for all the effort you guys have put in this year, and had to read out some of my dribble. Love you guys. Love the Discord, guys and girls. Yeah, join the Discord.
Just for that, we should find Shane's rant in here and read it out
Mate,
too.
what Shane says is not dribble. Let me give you the tip. You're very knowledgeable supporter
And I'm sorry I missed
and a really
Shane.
good bloke.
Yeah.
Love meeting
Yeah,
him.
you saw him at
Spoon
Campbelltown.
Bowl Day.
Yep. Well, let's our aim for next year is we'll be at every home game.
Like this year.
We might try. A lot of people suggested as well that we do live stream sort of stuff. So maybe we'll look for away games next year. We'll go to the Red Room or something, or here at I think
I
with
choice.
We can talk
Jason.
about that off air. After
Yeah,
last week.
Jason.
Can we legally film ourselves cheering the team on? That would be pretty cool.
Why can't we?
But
You
like,
can.
It wouldn't be
No,
on
I
you
just
the
can't
screen.
show the
absolutely
game.
can.
So people just have to watch the game and they
Yeah, they watch
watch
the game and
us
have us in
and
the
saying on
background.
their phone
Okay.
or something.
You've
we can
kind
do
of
that.
just got to sync the game with us, because otherwise you're either seeing our reactions considerably late or considerably early.
Early.
But
What I've
so much of YouTube right now is people watching and basically commenting,
reacting,
and reacting to
reacting
games.
live. Yeah, live
Yeah.
reacting is huge.
You
at the
can't
moment.
see obviously the game itself being played in the background. You can maybe hear it a little bit,
Mm,
but
yeah.
So everyone else swearing
the
while you're
fun
watching
is the fun or the excitement is hearing how the fans react, especially if it's
Yeah.
to their own team.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it because Jason, the office here, obviously can.
No, he's got a massive
It's a
screen.
huge screen here. Might do a
Check it
Patreon
out there.
Patreon party or something. He's got a big projector screen. He said he can put the footy on for us. So we can do a live stream and have the Patreon
Definitely for away games.
people here. Yeah, so we'll do some more fun stuff. We'll probably stick to one episode, but go hard with the live reactions after the game. Not
Sure.
live reactions. The
Post-game
the
reactions.
post-game reaction videos were a lot of fun, and we'll aim to do that more because a lot of people said in the feedback as well that they love those as well. So every home game we'll take the mic.
Let's
We'll
try
take
and
as
get
a
into
spotlight.
let's try and get into as many of these things that got sent to us as possible, guys. Because if people have taken the time out
Yeah.
to rant, like I think we should hear what they got to
All
say
right.
too.
Who's
take
going
a while,
first?
but Aaron's a very fast reader, and he's going to be trying out for SBS.
Oh, am I?
SBS radio.
That's news to me.
Anton Enos.
Yeah.
Well, I did choose 3 here. So, Kim R, friend of the show. We won games I thought we wouldn't and lost to teams we should have beaten. We really struggled with an 80-minute performance. We just don't seem fit enough to compete with the teams or have much of a game plan. Blooded some great young kids who we have to lock up long term, but if we keep losing, they will be wanting to leave as well. Extremely disappointed in Clemmer, Bateman, Steph, and Ice. Our game plan seems to be non-existent, and I think if we had a proven coach, would have been a lot better. Always wanted Flanagan. I love Benji, but I think he is so far out of his depth on coaching. With the players coming in, if we don't start well, Benji will be gone and another season will be wasted.
Yeah, pretty good read.
Michael, I don't have a negative rant. I have enjoyed this season a lot more than the previous couple. It's a family thing for me, including 2 grandkids aged 4 and 10. First time my 4-year-old granddaughter has gone to any games and enjoyed dancing around on the family hill at Campbelltown. My 10-year-old grandson saw 5 wins live this year after going to 7 games last year for no wins and has met most of the players and is now an ingrained fan. I really like seeing those positive stories.
Yeah.
And Will, I had very low expectations before the year started, was hoping we'd at least climb the ladder, but wasn't to be. A couple of extra wins this year helped, but having 2 long stretches of losses was really rough. Disappointed in Stefano and his lack of effort this season in defence, and we know Bellamy will get a better version of him too. Hopefully we release a few more players before pre-season and sign some more experience. I am excited for 25. We may not make the 8, but we will climb the ladder. And in all capital letters, get in the crocodile roll.
What do you got, Roberto?
Look, I'll just read a couple out here. I mean, I haven't really gone through them all, so apologies to everyone out there. But like watching a bad drama where you can see the outcome but can do fuck all about it, keep watching for punishment. That's not very great. Phil Rogers, who we just spoke about par, I thought we would be much better than last year, but not by much. The introduction of the young guns like Galvin, the Fainus, Johansson, etc., is a blessing in disguise during the injury crisis. I was fully behind Benji when he was given the job, but the jury's still out for me. If he doesn't get the right backroom staff and work on defence, I fear another repeat of the last 3 years. Rob Gilmore, full of promise, poor execution, so disappointing to continue to be dragged through the mud. However, I would never support another team, so hopefully 2025 is the next chapter of change and growth. Brandon W., who we just mentioned, it was very much what I expected this season was going to be. I wanted to say 8 wins. Would have been nice, but considering Benji's lack of coaching experience, I'm not surprised of the wooden spoon finish. We have had all these juniors have NRL experience with some debuts, and with signings coming over to change the culture, I'm sure we'll be on the rise to climb the ladder next year. Tim Colgate, only winning a handful of games is depressing, and it does make me furious a lot of the time, but I'm still a Tiger, will always be a Tiger. 2025 is the year for some success. So that's just a handful of them, but obviously everyone's frustrated, but at the same time, they'll never go for another team. And they're always positive. And, you know, I think we've learned a lot more. You do learn a lot more from losing than winning, guys. And I think, you know, for me personally, it's just about realizing what's important in life and what isn't. I think sometimes we get too wrapped up in footy, and I certainly have this year at times and gone above and beyond. But I got to be honest, like once we're back in the hunt again, I'll still go back to being my crazy, passionate self. But I'm sort of on the burner at the moment.
The footage of you running around your backyard like a headless chook after the Easter Monday win against Para a couple of years ago after the field goal is ingrained in my memory.
I'll tell you what's ingrained in my family's memory. I will share this part. My favourite moment this year was the Jareem Buller try at Combank Stadium against Para when it got us back in the lead, when Lockie kind of went through a gap, got his arms free, passed back on the inside. And I kid you not, my whole family was terrified of me. I was absolutely going off. I just had this Hulk voice going on, and I was going. Honestly, it just felt so good to just believe in the team so much and just think that they could overcome such adversity like they did that game.
That was also mere minutes after Lockie had come back from the sin bin too. He had only just come back on the field from being in the bin, and he took it on himself to make up for it.
When Gutho missed the kick, I always knew he was going to miss the kick. And when he missed the kick, I didn't even react. I was just so calm, and it was just like, we've got this. But that try earlier, and obviously when Aiden Caesar kicked the field goal, I certainly went off like a firecracker. And as a not just as a Tigers fan, as an NRL fan, we need those moments, guys. We need those moments where it makes you feel alive, and you just forget about everything else in the world. And man, there's nothing better than when your team's winning. But it's been too long. We've been starved of success for way too long.
I'll give James a plug here. He said, just look at the performances of players who left us and are playing finals. Brooksy would be a prime example. So many people, including me at times, were critical of him and his performances for us. He carried the can for our lack of success. So what do we think then? He suddenly became a good player when he left us instead of the park full of footballer he was accused of. Being coaching, I'm now convinced that a good coach can get good performances out of what he has to work with. Example, Cleary, when he was with us, where does that leave us for next year? Benji would need to make a massive step up in the coaching in the guys we have coming, because they have now worked with top coaches and will not want to put up with poor coaches. That last performance of ours against the Eels was poor, and I think it came down to a poor coaching performance more than anything else. We were there at times this season, put together some very good performances under difficult circumstances, but the coaching game planning has to be better next year. And then under the feedback section, James said it's a bit long-winded sometimes. God bless, guys.
I agree. We need to make these things about an hour, I reckon.
It was a lot easier to do that when we were doing it 2 a week.
If we move
separating things,
maybe we'll move Rob Zadamas and the tips to a Patreon only or something next year. And then the Patreon guys can get a little bit extra, and we can. There's a few people in there I saw don't like us talking, don't like the tips and that sort of thing. So maybe only the.
But is that the NRL tips? Like when we're talking about the weekly games, they don't like, or you just?
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't please everyone, but some people like that we go for 2 hours.
It's funny. I don't like the player ratings. I don't like the players.
You can't please everyone.
You're just saying the same shit. You're bagging the same players every week. I'd much rather talk for 20 minutes about the game from like minute 1 to minute 80 and do it in detail. And that, I think that is more interesting, and just getting our views on how we saw the game pan out and whatever, instead of just.
I like getting the fans' opinion. That's the whole
I agree
point
with
of
that
the player. I like to see what the people are thinking. That's the whole.
Yeah, but I'd rather they're just their opinions in the feedback that we get in comments, as opposed to like 1 to 10 ratings. But anyway, that's something to work
on. I'm gonna read a couple more really quickly.
Sure. Yeah, go for it. It's the last. It's Christmas.
The 2 people that donated to us who put comments in, I'll read theirs out. So
I did read Brandon W. and Phil
Brandon
Rogers,
W
by the way.
One that you read. Okay, cool.
I did read
that one.
Yeah.
So
and I did
a lot of people
Phil.
said audio quality too. I think we finally nailed it tonight. Yeah, we haven't had one complaint about audio.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Our team couldn't.
Rob's nearly swallowing the microphone.
Yeah, we won our spoon bowl. We won our spoon bowl.
We got it right on the last show.
Shane Coet, it was as expected. A little disappointing. We fell in a hole after showing improvement early in the year. Injuries were a major factor, unfortunately. I predicted we would win 6 games, so I was close. Well, Shane, you weren't close. You were bang on.
Very spot on.
Shawnee just sent us $10 in a super chatathon. Shawnee M said, "Let us play in round 1 next year." There's no way.
You said that too, Aaron.
Yeah, no way.
Want us to play in round 1 next year instead of getting a bye.
No, I've actually said
you want the other way. Sorry,
the bye next year could actually be a good thing for us in round 1, because Luai's going to have a delayed preseason with us because of the international games, and he's not going to join the club plus the finals this year, so he's not going to join the club until January. So the more time he gets with the team, especially after the trials, would actually do us a little bit of good.
Yeah, but you want to rest. No, it sucks. You don't need to rest round 1.
I mean, if you rest round 1, then you have both of your other buys throughout the Origin period, like around Origin game.
You want them ideally. You can't.
That's not too bad.
Like the party stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait
a few hours to get there. It just doesn't feel
I can't wait till 18 teams.
Hype around 1, and then you
got
the bye. Wow.
Bye sucks. Get rid of it.
Just another thing that people said, a few people said they wanted a bit more of, was the NRLW side of things. And I do agree with those people. I would like to do a little bit more, or put a little bit more focus into the NRLW side of things, because
so late though, Aaron.
That's the thing. It starts so late. It's a very short season. Exactly. If you lose your first few games,
we love the girls.
You struggle to get back into it. And there's not a lot of interest in the women's game. So if the viewers and listeners do enjoy listening to the NRLW segments of the show, please do let us know, because I would love to spend more time talking about the girls' game.
I think people are getting more and more in the NRLW. Do you feel?
I think so.
Crowd-wise, no. they're not going out.
Crowd-wise, it's going to take a little bit of time. And I
Yeah.
think the thing that the NRL haven't necessarily got right this year is putting some of the NRLW games on the Sunday at 6 o'clock after the final men's game of the round at the same ground, because you're seeing such a drastic drop in crowd numbers of people who aren't staying there. But in saying that, some of those games are the ones with the most attendance, because a few more fans are deciding to stay back than either come early for a doubleheader where the NRLW is before, or if the NRLW is its own separate thing to the NRL on a different day, which is what we've had at all our home games.
Winning would help, yeah.
Winning would help as well, yeah.
Gussie sent us $5. Good on you, Gussie. And he's a YouTube member as well, and he's a Patreon. He's just always supporting the show. The OG Gussie said, I could listen to you for 3 hours an episode. Legends, sometimes the banter is the most entertaining element to the show. Love you, great
Thanks,
Tiger
Gussie. Love you,
humans.
mate.
Good on you, Gussie.
Thanks, Gussie.
I was hoping you'd come in earlier. You're a bit late tonight. I was hoping you'd message me and tell me the sound quality is good tonight. But
speaking of NRLW, I know we're an hour and 40 in. Do I get to talk about our win on Thursday night?
Oh yeah, do a quick NRL. We're just talking about how we don't talk about it enough. There is a game this week. There is a game this. It's the last episode of the year. I think people will forgive us for going 2 hours.
The main thing was I was really happy for the girls to see them get the win. I think it was probably one of the most deserved wins in the history of any sort of sport competition. Obviously 0-7 going into the game, odds against them, wet, miserable evening at Leichhardt Oval on a Thursday night with a little over 500 people. Wind was awful. Rain was awful. I remember speaking to Bo after the game. She said one of the moments where she was the most nervous was a bomb that was sent up to her, where a strong gust of wind came, picked the ball up and started to carry it away from her. She kind of had to reach out and she just barely clung onto it. Otherwise, it would have been basically an error, basically giving the Dragons a set on halfway. The girls, they just really worked hard for this one. Kicking was a lot better. Conditions obviously made that a little bit tougher with conversions that weren't from necessarily in front. But they worked hard. They played as a team. Great game by Rebecca Pollard, who hasn't really had a chance to shine so far this year, I thought. And yeah, I was just really happy for the girls, and to see the relief on most of their faces after they won, to see the video of them singing the team song at the end of the game. I was just so happy for them.
To see Kezzy Apps crying, like she's just in uniform and she was crying.
I didn't see that because I was at the game.
TV. Yeah, she was just really emotional about it, and like you thought, the Dragons were coming to get them. They had that cyclone.
Oh, they really were.
And Bo played all over Tegan Berry. Like Tegan Berry had a shocker, and Bo was absolutely brilliant the other night. And Sarah was good while she was on the field, Sarah Togatugi. But yeah, it was just great that they hung on. Like in patches, they looked brilliant, but then at other times in the game, we just looked awful and made some simple errors. But we certainly deserved the win.
I'll just quickly, my 3-2-1. So I gave my 3 to Bo. Her influence on the game was immense. We don't win that game if not for her. A lot of tough carries out of her end, out of our own end, and like I mentioned, a lot of tough catches of the ball under brutal conditions that the girls really would not used to be training and playing in. Nevada George, I thought, was a rock down the middle of the field. She got my 2. Great game from her. And yeah, Beck Pollard, I probably would have given her my 2, but she was bit of a defensive lapse that led to 2 of the 3 tries that the Dragons scored. The double to Mataleo Fotumawala, both down her side of the field. So that was including a how would you call it, a bobble in the in goal? I think it probably was. Yeah. That she lost backwards and then was pounced on. So unfortunate, but she scored 2 of her own. So scored 2, conceded 2, and we still won by 2. So
2-2.
Josh is going to have to update the NRLW votes, and I'll send him mine for our final game of the season.
Put up the socials,
and you can post them to see who the winner is.
They're playing. Who are they playing this week?
Sharks, Thursday night, Shark Park.
Okay. Any changes this week?
Yes. So just the one change.
Doesn't even need notes. No, straight off the top of your head.
Montana Clifford was out HIA last week, I think it was. She's come back into the second row for last week's debutant Claudia Brown, who moves back to 18th player. Otherwise unchanged.
Emmanuel He sent us $5. Great effort this year, lads. No, thank you for loyal listening. You're always helping our algorithm as well, man. You're always commenting on the YouTube video as well. We see you. Let's hope for a lot more wins next year. Less sin bins. That includes you, Rob. So yeah,
Thanks, mate.
we want 24 games.
No
out of-
Twitter timeouts for Rob next year.
Yeah, I feel like we'll turn a leaf next year. We're clean, fully supportive. The team's gonna do well.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be.
We're all going to be normal human beings until the
Yep.
refs fuck us over.
In round
And
one.
I'll do it all
Look,
again.
that's inevitable. But hopefully, we'll have a team good enough that that we don't have to dwell on it as much. So,
True.
all right. Anything else before we go on hiatus till next year?
Well,
Merry Christmas.
I just want to double down on what all those viewers are saying. Thanks to everyone that supports the show, that listens. Personally, to everyone that's communicated with me through the year, where it's just been a bit of friendly banter or reaching out to me. When I obviously had my little sojourn from the show. I want to thank you two blokes, Aaron and Josh. Aaron, you've been amazing. You've come on so strong this year. You've added so much more to the show. Josh, I don't think people realise what it takes to get this thing going. And obviously, we've had a few audio difficulties, which you've admitted to. But like what you do before a show, and I know personally what you do as a husband, as a father, and how hard you work. And you, honestly, like I would not be doing this podcast if I were you, because you literally don't have a spare minute, but you always find a way to do this, and it's your passion for the West Tigers that really just rubs off. And that's why I think we've got so many loyal listeners, because they're all a lot like us. So thank you for everything you do for the show.
I'm going to clip that for the
just
wife.
want to wish everyone, obviously a happy off season, and Merry Christmas, and just recharge, come back. We'll do it all again next year. And if we get kicked again next year, we'll do it all again the year after. We're Tigers through and through. So just hang in there. Good times are around the corner. And yeah, I just hope everything works out on the field next year, and we just get to talk a lot more positive stuff and not talk about too many more, losses and rebuilds and coaching changes and all this stuff. We need a lot of stability in the club, but one thing that is stable is the supporters we've got. Because if you're still on the Tigers bandwagon now and you haven't left, you're never going to leave. So thank you for being Tiger supporters, and just get behind the club. And if you're thinking about membership and you're not sure, get on board, and we hope to see a lot of you at the games next year. So thank you to everyone out there, and love you all.
Emmanuel's suggesting a Mad Monday for us. We're definitely.
Are we already mad?
This is Mad Monday because we really had nothing to talk about except just a bit of this stuff and letting everyone have their view.
JM said he wants a 3-hour podcast when the new 2025 jersey is revealed.
With the brand new major sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's
we need a West Tigers patch that goes over all the current gear that can cover the Brighton stuff.
That's not bad merch.
I don't want to get rid of my jacket, man. I just bought it this year, like $150. Why should I get rid of it and keep wearing that Brighton's crap? I need a West Tigers patch on that side.
Or a WestsLife patch.
No, West Tigers.
Yeah.
West Tigers.
As anything to, as we head off until, we'll break down the draw come November. So, but until then.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Rob said, it can be a little bit tough to do this podcast at times, obviously when things are going down the drain, whether that be personal lives or with just watching the performances on field and stuff like that. And I've obviously felt that a little bit myself this year. And I commend Rob for coming back onto the show after what happened back in May. And obviously the fact that you've learned from what happened is a credit to who you are and what you continue to bring to the show since before and since then. Also to you, Josh, as well. Thanks again for all the time and effort you put into making this show what it is. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. And thank you to all the viewers and listeners who continue to tune into us week after week, whether you've been here for years or months or weeks, or if you're only just tuning in.
Welcome. Go back. Yeah, go back.
You're still here after 2 hours. You're not leaving us.
Yeah. To those who listen all the way to the back end of the episodes as well, we love you. But everyone that listens, I don't know, if you listen for 5 minutes of the episode, love you as well. If you support the show, our Patreon legends, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/WestsLife. The off season is still a lot of fun. As I said at the start of the show, the banter. If there's one thing I'm proud of what we've built is the community that we've built in that Discord. So a couple of people to join lately in the Discord. They were like, they literally said, you guys weren't kidding. Like, this is such a good,
It's a great
happy
group.
place. It's like Twitter without
There
the
is not
dickheads.
any
It's so
bad
good.
vibe in that Discord group.
Yeah.
Everyone has just
Friendly opinions.
friendly, and
yeah.
we all get on well. Honestly, like I think there's some guys in there that do not feel like their day's complete if they haven't bantered with another particular person, whether it's about West Tigers, NFL, NBA, whatever the case may be. So yeah,
Horse racing.
TV channels and all these.
Yeah, I'm adding.
You've added all these.
I gave
gave
Az an
movies
AFL
and
channel.
TV shows, and everything's got a different channel. If you don't
Yeah.
like a certain channel, you just log off it and you just
Yeah.
look at what you want to look at. It's just a really good group of people, man. They're good humans. That's
Just on the Discord as well, and some of the people in it. Massive shout out to Riff Raff, I think.
He's
Considering
unbelievable.
hit mid-season when he came up with the idea to start a top
Top
five
five,
based on
yeah.
our rants and things during the games, and
He
how
screenshots
that's-
our rants.
yeah, that
our reactions during the game.
gives us a top
Yeah.
5 list at the end of the games. Even us chuckle at some of the outrageous, outlandish things that some of us have said.
And he did the other day. He did
the top 5
the
awards.
top 5.
where-
He
yeah,
did an award show.
an
for
award
the
show
Discord
after
for
the elimination final up in
Unbelievable.
North Queensland. And congratulations as well to the first Hall of Fame member of the Patreon Discord server, Shane Coet.
An immortal. Our first
Those top fives,
Discord
they're
immortal.
so good to look forward to. I'm actually glad that I got to make a couple of them finally this year, but
Yeah.
it did take some vulgar language to actually make.
It's
the top
great fun.
five, which really
Sometimes it does.
I had to
Although
think
in the
back to the
case of
dark
Shane
old days.
Coet, you can call people plums and make it.
No, that's
and
right.
Make it up there.
all the old words that Shane was coming up with. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
And-
come
yeah.
join the fun. If you don't know what if you don't know how to learn Discord, Rob figured it out, and he's
If I can do it, anyone can do it.
It's an app. You download it. I can send you once you sign up to the Patreon. I send you a link. You jump in, and you're away, and everyone waves high. It's just it is truly the best. The aim for next year is to meet more of those legends and all of our listeners at the game. Do a lot more fun stuff outside of the podcast.
Out of all the people in the Discord, I've met 2 of them, and I really want to change that. So that's going to be one of my plans for next year.
The West Campbelltown Club is right next door to Campbelltown Stadium. Makes it easy to meet people there. Like
It's
you
the
can go
best.
to the club there,
Yeah.
post game pre. I like it like Hut Oval. Like unless you
Maybe we
gonna
pick
go
a
to
pub.
a few kilometers away. Like
Maybe
it's
we
sort
pick a
of-
pub or something next year.
We'll have to work out something
Yeah.
for Leichhardt, but definitely meeting people. Campbelltown's the way to go.
We'll definitely make it more than just a podcast next year. We'll make an effort to make more content. More West Tigers stuff, more West Tigers fans. So
And I tell you what, guys, I'm glad this is our last show of the season, because by this time next week, I fully intend to have absolutely 0 voice left.
why is that?
Friday night, Sydney Cricket Ground.
Oh,
Oh,
your
mate.
Swans. You have to fucking mention your Swans.
No. Mate, Port Adelaide got the wood on you blokes.
Yeah, not anymore. That's changing
We're
on
at the
Friday
AFL
night.
end
Let's
of
hope
the
for your
show.
sake it does.
It's time to go. What am I going to do? Oh, it's my happy birthday to my son for Monday. He turns 4 on Monday, so I might end on that
Happy
note.
birthday,
So yeah,
Leo.
Happy birthday, Leo.
Leo was literally born a year after I started this thing, and he's 4 years old now. So
Where does the time go?
where does sunrise, sunset, cats in the cradle? Righto. Thank you, everyone. Love yous all. We'll see you online. We'll see you in the Discord. Yeah, we'll see you. Probably if the West Tigers do something significant, we'll probably come back for another show. But in the meantime, it's time for us to have a bit of a break from the YouTubes, from the podcast for a little bit. Until then, as always, go the Tigers.
Go
the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.